Welcome back to Bitcoin Generations. Um, I'm going to jump right into it today. No need for a big whole intro and all that. It's Bodie, and I'm here to discuss all things Bitcoin with you today in terms of the context of um, for the audience of baby boomers, for the audience of new Bitcoiners, for um, yeah, okay, people not very familiar with it. So we're not going to get into a bunch of crazy stuff today, but I will acknowledge a couple things. First of all, the hat that I'm wearing is not usually worn by me here on the podcast, but I have. It's a congratulatory head nod to the Vegas Golden Knights for making the playoffs and for not sitting on zero and boldly stepping into the ring with what I think it's going to be 16 other team or 15 other teams. Um, I believe. So anyway, good luck to them and great job this year, and look forward to seeing everybody in the arena uh, for that. Anyway, on to bigger and better things in regard to like what's going on out there with our economy. Um, Also, want to just quickly shout out Jor. Jor is not here today, but he will be back another time. He's got some things going on, and but what I think I have is pretty special stuff here for you guys. I want to kind of just jump right into it and just kind of acknowledge like what the kind of the feel of everything that I see going on right now. People are getting kind of jumpy. Um, there's a lot of tension, a lot of people worried about stuff. Um, yeah, like what, especially CEOs and things like that. People who own businesses, like like what's going to happen? How can we make decisions based on all this uncertainty? And it's all by design. It's not anything that's new. It's not anything that's what is unexpected. But going through it is kind of is kind of a difficult thing to do, right? So here we are. People who do not study this stuff are worried. They don't know. They're like they will need a raise. They don't have enough money, and that's what they see. They see that feel the pain, and they don't understand why. Um, and I would just like to say that I think that if there's anybody listening to this kind of thing, this is exactly what we see coming. This is exactly what we saw coming, and this is exactly why we need to drill down into and go down the rabbit hole of why Bitcoin. What like what is it? How do I use it? How do I store it? How do I keep it? How do I protect it? How do I spend it? What do I spend it on? All these good practices, right? These are all really important things to like, hey, yeah, that's reality. That's a reality thing. Um, some people might be scared. Some people might be unsure. Yeah, this is it. This is it. This is what they call the chop. The chop of like, oh, it's up, it's down, it's everything's, like crazy. Yeah, yeah. That's why your feet need to be planted on solid ground. Uh, the ocean, the ocean, when a storm happens in the ocean, right? It's just like all over the place. I mean, you can't like where is level? Where is, you can't find yourself in that. You get lost in it. You need to be grounded. So I have a lot of things I'm going to cover, but the end, and some of it's like, oh, and some of it's like, yes, and some of it's like, okay, where do we go with this? How do we, how do we stay grounded, and how do we proceed forward? And I have I'm definitely convicted on some things that I think I would like to share today. But first thing I'd like to do is welcome everything divided by 21 million. Welcome, and buck 52,000. Here like clockwork, you guys. So good to see you guys. So, good guys or gals, you never know. We love to welcome women into Bitcoin because it's sound money for everyone, right? So, so just a shout out to Jor today. He's working on some stuff. He got some things to take care of, and like, guess what I'm doing today? I yesterday and today, I've been putting a fence in. I'm doing fencing, right? It's like good. It's good stuff. Proof of work. I got holes in my backyard, and there it is. I got some sweat to prove it. So it's always good to get out and do stuff and have balance in your life and stuff. And so I want to encourage, if you got projects, we finally got some sunshine. It's not too much rain. We're getting those things done. That's awesome. Big shout out to everybody doing their gardening and getting stuff going for this year. Let me just jump right into kind of what I want to talk about and some of the things that I listen to. Some of you all might listen to as well, but I'm going to assume that you don't follow the same things that I do. So I've tried to bring some value that might be helpful that you can find. Generally speaking, you can find it on the internet as well, but it's commonsensical, and it's one of those things that I recommend that you, in going down the rabbit hole, that you do the research. You do your own research, and nothing on this channel is financial advice, of course. But one of the things that I've been hearing over and over is people don't understand some basics, and that is, people don't know what money is. Okay, so this is, I'm going to keep this real basic. Okay, so money is money. Like, this is a difficult conversation for a lot of people. They're like, what is he, what are you talking about? I know what money is. Or, like, oh man, he better not say the wrong thing. Well, I'm going to keep it real simple. And so money is something that can be a store of value. Okay. Money can be a store of value. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a certain, like, you picture one thing. It can be different kinds of things can be considered money, right? Something that has a store of value can have a store of value. Now, the difference between money and currency, though, is currency cannot be a store of value. Okay. And why do I say this? Is because take a look at paper money. Take a look at paper currency. Fiat currency is what we call it, is because it's not backed by anything. And just because we all decide that paper currency is something that we will be willing to transact and give each other and trade and barter and whatnot, doesn't mean that it will stay it could quickly change. And that might be something we would move away from quickly if people's confidence in that don't, if that changes. Okay, so what am I saying? Okay, so money can be a store of value. Currency cannot be a store of value. Okay, are we clear about that? Anybody have a question about that? Reach out to me, but I think it's pretty clear. And so this is something that we have to make this distinction. And if we do make the distinction, then we know that that money then it's better than currency, right? It's better to have money that can be a store of value. That's great, because it's better than having currency, which cannot be a store of value. Currency is just that. It's limited in what it can do, and it's limited in what it was designed to do. So I think that's important to define, just to kind of basically lay it out there. And I'm again really intentionally trying to keep this very simple. but we have we've like it or not, we've entered into a the age of the internet back in you know early 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s. We have been doing the internet thing for a long time now, right? And one thing I always like to say is that I was there for the introduction of the internet. I remember the fear, uncertainty, the doubt that accompanied the S curve adoption of the internet back in at that time frame. And it's very similar to this, except this 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 digital age of cryptocurrency is magnitudes, in my mind, it's magnitudes bigger and more scary to a lot of people than when the internet came on board. We had no frame of reference for anything prior to the internet. We did not know what it was going to be like once the internet came. The internet was brand new. There was a whole lot of fear about, like, whoa, you can't do any transactions on there. I don't want to spend any money. It's overwhelming enough just getting all this information through the internet. But like, we had dial up and we thought dial up was fine. And then we found out that, oh, dial up isn't so fine. It's actually pretty slow. And then the version was better. And then, here we go. And then we're all the way up to, whatever we are now today in April 2025 in terms of internet speeds and who has access around the globe for internet access, right? So it has done nothing but grow. And so that S curve adoption, there was a period of time that there was like a major increase in adoption. Well, we're early into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adoption. And I would say cryptocurrency only because Bitcoin is the original is the original cryptocurrency. And anything else other than Bitcoin is going to zero. And I will repeat that for the hard-headed and the people who haven't heard that before. Everything that is not Bitcoin that is an asset will be going to zero. And the reason I say that is because there is nothing compared to Bitcoin. It will not be. When everything moves in one direction toward the most solid, scarcest sound money that there is on the face of the earth, nothing else can compare. It's just like, it's like trying to stop a river, right? It's like, okay, no, I think we need to just we're not going to make that. We're going to die trying to do that. So yeah. So I would just kind of like, for the hard-headed people and and stuff, just encourage them to see that Bitcoin is sound money and that we are early in this, and it's not too late to get Bitcoin. You don't have to look at the price of one Bitcoin. You can look at it in terms of the price of a Satoshi or the sats, right? So the sats aren't that much, and you can still buy them right now. And so, yeah, like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep kind of going here with this. I do want to shout out with again, we got a few people in chat, like, hey, yeah, we got Pipeline Podcast in the chat, and he says, we're live. One thing I always love, or one thing I love, always thought was funny, is those who are calling Bitcoin a scam will soon be working for a dozen sats per hour while there declines as Bitcoin skyrockets. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we will have, I mean, people who are owners of Bitcoin today will be owners of businesses, will be buying businesses at pennies on the dollar, probably, eventually. And they will be hiring people. They will be having processes done maybe by robots or something like that, depending on how far you're talking about. But you're absolutely right. They will have uh, they will have people working for a number of sats per hour. How many sats per hour? Well, it depends. I guess it depends on how where Bitcoin is in the price of of everything. It's it, we are early. I mean, I don't have that many years left compared to how many years I've got on already, but um, I love it. I think it's a fantastic asset. I think everybody should learn about it. I think everybody should like. I really don't know that many people. I mean, I don't know that many people in Bitcoin personally, but I have the people that I have met who have done the homework, who have legitimately studied it. And I know a bunch of people who haven't studied it that I've talked to about it, and they haven't done the homework yet. Although, if they are now, they're not talking to me about it. But I've encouraged conversations for us to have it, to talk about it. And I've given some books out, and I've had preliminary conversations like, hey, yeah, this is becoming a thing. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen? So I would, I would, I would just kind of on that note, what have we seen? What am I talking about? Okay, let me just say right here. Have you seen? I'm gonna name out some real basic stuff. The the United States. Okay, it's not me. It's not Joe Schmo. It's not anybody else talking about this. It's actually our president has initiated an executive order for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Our president has established um, a what is it? What is it? A stockpile. It's a stockpile of like I love the term stockpile, where they have like all these other like excuse me. Hey, you know what? I think we need to have a little more audio here. How's that? Is that a little better? Tell me how the audio is. Probably wasn't that great. This is probably a lot better. Um, from somebody in the chat, just let me know that we're doing better on the audio. But so the beauty of the stockpile, I think, is that all the all the riffraff, okay, all you riffraff, you know, ship coins, and you're going over here into the into this into this pile, into this like big, hopper of all kinds of ship coins and things. And I think it's amazing that they've acknowledged that, and they're really 100% willing to take that stuff and to dump it in there. But they have specifically said in the I should actually just pull it up for you right now, because I think this is just fantastic. um, um, okay, so just bear with me. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to actually, yeah, yeah. So this is, this is worth sharing. Um, so I would say right here, let's just go into this real quick. And here it is right here. And we're going to bring up there it is. Okay. So this is the White House's, the actual establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States digital asset stockpile. Okay, first thing I just want to point out, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know some of the audience has already seen this and they are very familiar with this, but there are some people that may watch this channel that are like, what kind of big deal is that? There's two, I want to make a distinction here. Because all of these things are cryptocurrencies, strategic Bitcoin reserve is one thing, but there's a distinction here. And look at this, okay? You have the digital asset stockpile and you have the strategic Bitcoin reserve, okay? So let's just kind of get right into, it's very boring and I'm not going to bore you, but, this was established early on in the administration, okay? This is something that is being taken seriously, okay? March 6th, okay, less than 2 months into his term, President Trump signed this executive order, and now we have the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Initially, it's not been approved by, not that they have to approve an executive order, but it has been established, the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the United States digital asset stockpile. So in a nutshell, what they've done here is they have gone in and decided that they're going to, let's see. Yeah, there we go. They have gone in and decided that they're going to actually hold Bitcoin. Okay. The United States government has decided that they are going to hold Bitcoin. This is a massive shift from where we were 6 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. This would have been like, are you kidding me? Really? Like, that is like that's hard to imagine that the United States government has decided to hold Bitcoin. Okay. So there you go. But not only that, they decided that, the actual Bitcoin is going to be over here. That is, we'll hold that. But the digital asset stockpile, that is going to be something that it's like, that is sort of like, kind of like the trash can, or like it's headed towards the trash can. And we're going to take that and those things, and we have the option to sell those, because we're not planning on holding those. So they would sell those now we've learned, a budget neutral way, right? They could sell those things and buy Bitcoin. And there's a multitude of other ways that they can get, they can actually, in a budget neutral way, they can get Bitcoin as well. But I'm not going there just yet. I just want to acknowledge that this is where we are. For the people who are new to Bitcoin, for the people who are like my age or older, who are like, what is such the big deal? Well, people who are, listen, there's a lot of folks in Bitcoin who really are aware of what's going on. I mean, the people who are in Bitcoin, which is a small percent of this population, I would say there's a small percent of the population that is really aware of what's going on in Bitcoin, in the macroeconomics, in the printing of fiat money, in like why we are where we are as a country right now. Why is everybody so up in arms about, our financial future as a country? And like, it's a serious business. We cannot kick this can down the road any further. So this is for those folks. Just like pause for a second and understand where we are. And when we say where we are right now and that we're early, we're talking, this is why. Something like this is one reason why we're early. Okay. Buck 52,000, let's kind of pause for a second. You've got a comment here. My biggest insight in regard to Bitcoin is it allows me to personally take responsibility and accountability for my wealth. Right. Absolutely. So accountability is one of my favorite words. I absolutely love that word because, well, for some personal reasons, especially recently with my kids and stuff, but without going into a rabbit hole on that story, it is absolutely 100% a great idea to be aware of that you have responsibilities, that you understand enough about reality and the world that, you can't trust, you know, the banking industry. You can't trust the medical industry after, COVID. You can't, who can you trust? You kind of like, not so sure. And as you get older, guess what? Guess what happens to people when they get older? The number of people that they trust gets smaller and smaller, right? And so they may trust their family member, maybe, or a trusted close friend, but this is the general kind of trend is that you can trust fewer and fewer and people when you get older. That's why there's a lot of people that get a lot of older people they get scammed, they get rug pulled, they get wrecked financially, and it's horrible, it's terrible. But when you understand that there is a way, and it's not rocket science, there is a way though that you can take, like buck 52,000 said here, take responsibility. You can take responsibility and accountability and custody of your own personal wealth and keep it out of harm's way. Save it for a rainy day, keep it out of harm's way. I'm making rhymes here. No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's something that we want to, like, not only be aware of, but take action on. I had a situation recently that I will tell you, this is it. This is it right here. This is the we talked about accountability right there. Okay. So I had a situation where we were in this I'll just kind of cut to the chase here. I was in a discussion in a group, and we were talking about uh intention and desire. So, like, what's your intentions? You have the best intentions, you have all this desire to do something, and that's all great and fine. Wonderful, wonderful. But if you can have all the intentions in the world, all the best of intentions, right? Anybody seen this play out? You can have the best of intentions, you can have all the desire, you can have a ton of heart. You are like focused, and if that's all you have nothing. You haven't done anything. You got to the right place, but you're kind of like your feet haven't touched the ground yet. Your hands haven't dug into the work yet. So I'm a big fan of action. Action. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So my point is, have the intentions 100%. You got to have desire. You got to have some drive. You got to have some chutzpah. You got to have some grit, whatever that means for you. And then you will be, the next phase is like kicking it into action, actually making yourself go. You get something done, right? Because yeah, well, if you have kids, you can see this, you can train them in this, and they either get it or they don't get it. And I don't want to even get started on that because I'll tell some more stories. And I've I don't have anybody beating down my door for me to tell stories. But um anyway, I will continue this train, keep moving. And you know, I see Letha in the chat. Hello, Letha. Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Um, buck 52,000 again. Problem is, in previous generations, the government, banks, advisors, etc., were taking care of individuals' wealth. Absolutely. I can speak from personal experience, and probably so can all of you, in regard to this. And it's, like, where are they today? Where are these personal wealth advisors in regard to Bitcoin? I hear goose egg. This is what I hear. Well, there may be some. Okay. I think I may be able to name off one or two of all the people that I've ever heard or know of that are personal wealth advisors. Um, that are all about Bitcoin. But by the for the most part, uh, the people who have educated me in financial classes and just a little bit of like personal financial education that I've had, just absolutely were like the response when I've asked about this, but I think it was like 2022 or 2021, because I was just testing the water. Sometimes you ask people questions because you want to hear the answer, even though you might have a good idea of what the answer already is because you already done some research, but you ask somebody a question anyway just to see what their response is and if they know as much as you know or more, because you always want to learn something, right? So I've asked this question, like, what about Bitcoin? Tell me what is Bitcoin a thing? Should we be looking at, investing in that or, and the answer that I got was no, Bitcoin, don't really have an opinion about Bitcoin because I don't know anything about it. Really? Like, it's 2022 at the time and you don't know anything about Bitcoin? Okay. You're not the guy for me then. I'm like, it immediately, the credibility just went like, woo, like way down. Right. So I was like, okay, I get what I can from this course and then, I'm done. So anyway, yeah, I would just, I would encourage everybody to just continue to do the work, continue to dig in, continue to do that. Yeah, I know I'm preaching to the choir to quite a few of you here, but for this is for the people who are going to watch this maybe, in a month or 2 or 6 months from now, who knows? You want to hear it from a baby boomer that's like, look, thing is for real. It is something you need to get off zero and you need to start reading, or if you're not a person that reads books, you need to listen to some Audible stuff, okay? Because there's a ton, many megatons of information out there on this right now, and it's more is being created every day with the current events, and it's like it's not slowing down. The current events are coming like ramping up, so I want to encourage you all to do that, okay? Uh, if you got any questions in the chat, please feel free to just throw them in there. And I I love questions. But let's take sort of a pulse check here because I'm kind of a pulse check kind of guy, and I want to kind of share a couple things. Um, one of the things in terms of your education, I'm going to add some value here. I want to show you a couple things. If you've never seen it, I want you to see it. This is a thing called mempool, and and I'm going to share the screen with you real quick. And the reason this is pretty complicated. Okay, this is not something that you're going to need to know right now, but this comes under the heading of like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Maybe I'll check that out another time. Okay, this is what that is. Okay, so right now you're going to see this screen right here. This is mempool.space, and this is something like a visual representation so you can see what is going on this blockchain thing that they talk about. And like, do I have to understand that? No, you don't have to understand that. Just know that it's there. I want you to just see these purple blocks over here on the right side have been mined already. The most recent block that has been mined was 892869. And there's a few things in here we can learn, but we don't have to dive down into this right now. Okay. It's always very interesting to me to learn new things. I'm kind of looking at down here. I'm looking at these are the different mining pools that have been mining these blocks. And you don't have to know what that is just right now, but just know that there's a lot of information in here because we're talking, we're talking, the digital engineered money that is Bitcoin. All right. So you don't have to be an engineer to understand this, but there is a lot of good information here. Okay. We're just going to scroll down and take a look at a few things. These are sort of like representations of the different transactions are going to be in a block. And as you can see, I'm scrolling through. And there's big ones, there's little ones, there's all kinds of interesting ones, and they are moving too. See how they're moving? Yeah. Okay. And then you've got that's probably about all we need to do. That's probably way too much information already on that. So I'm just going to kind of like move on, and we're going to go now to the time chain calendar. And this is pretty interesting. This one is timechaincalendar.com. And this one actually I find this actually probably as or more interesting than the mempool. Just from a visual kind of perspective, this thing tells us what the block height is that we're at right now. A lot of information here too. We are on epoch number 5. That means that we are in the 5th epoch. That means we've had a number of halvings already, and we are in the 5th one. So yeah, don't need to go too far into all this. Just interesting that after all those halvings that we've had, we are now at a subsidy of 3.125 Bitcoin per block. So every block that gets mined on an average of 10 minutes gets a subsidy of 3.125 Bitcoin. Plus, there's some transaction fees, but this is why a lot of people mine, okay? Because they like this Bitcoin subsidy right here, okay? Now, the reason there's okay, and this is right over here on the right side is the price on the Bitcoin price on the exchange. Okay, they just mined a new block 892870, and that's what happens when a new block gets mined. Okay, it goes through that process. This outer ring right here is the one that tells us how many more blocks until the halving. And this bold orange ring right here, this light orange ring, I should say. And when this number gets close to like back over here, right there, then you'll be at another halving. Okay. And this little thin orange line right up here tells us how much supply in percentage we have already mined. Okay. And you can see that number right. Oh, we got another block that was mined. Oh, wow. Fantastic. So that was less than a 10-minute average on that one. We are now at block 892871. And so this, let me make sure I'm not blowing smoke here. Okay. So if I understand this correctly, then this number right here, 94.53% of 21 million has been mined already. And that is this thin orange line right here. Okay. So we have this far to go, and it's going to take us a long time to get this far to get to the complete amount of Bitcoin that will ever be mined, 21 million. Right now, we are standing at 19.85 million Bitcoin that have been mined. Look at that. Since we've been looking at this, I think we're at, they've mined 3 blocks. Let's go back over here to mempool, and let's see here. Oh my goodness, I was not sharing the screen for you. I am so sorry. Okay. I am not proving that I am the best podcast producer that there ever lived, but I will try to improve. Okay. So here we go. Okay. This, my friends, is the time chain calendar. Okay. And what I was trying to explain, this is the block height right here. And we just had several of them. We went from 869 to 870, then we went to 71 and 72. So we had like 3 blocks mined in the time that I was looking at this. But what I was trying to say was that here's the epoch number 5. Here's the block subsidy. Okay. and that's right there. This is the price on the exchange right here. This is current price. This is how many sats you would get per US dollar. Okay. And that's still a smoking deal, folks. That is a great deal right there. And we have another little bit of information here is the total market capitalization of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency is 1.69 trillion as of this hour. Okay, back over here on the left side, underneath the epoch information is what I was saying about the 94.53% is this thin orange line right here. Okay. This bold orange line is the one that I was telling you about in terms of that. This is the number of blocks until the next halving right here. Okay. So when this keeps moving this direction, sort of clockwise. And as we get closer to the halving, at about the 2-year mark, it'll be right here. And another 2 years after that, it'll be, well, let's see. So the halving is on average, it's about every 4 years. Okay. So it takes 4 years for this thing on the large, on the light orange line to move around and go clockwise all the way back to the 12 o'clock position. Let me see if I've got this. Now, there is some information we can go over here. If you really find this stuff interesting, you can go into some of the things in here. We talk about the different kinds of yeah, there's some informational stuff right there you can go into. All right. Down here, it gives you basic information. This is 2:50 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm in Eastern time zone, and April, this is your date. But you can take this little scrolling bar at the bottom and go way back. You see how the halving things goes back? Okay, watch this. Okay, so you go from that orange at the very top, right up here, right there. It goes, if we move the bar, it'll kind of go, see, epoch number 2 to 3. Okay, yeah. So we go way back to, like, let's take on March 7th, 2009, we were at the block height 6696, and there, see all this, see how that changed. So we had 1.59% of the Bitcoin had been mined. It's like nobody knew about Bitcoin then, hardly, right? Maybe a few choice people did, but yeah, they didn't even have exchange information or anything on that, at that time. So don't want to get lost in the time chain calendar, but I just wanted to show this to you as a resource and try to add some value so you can look at this and learn some stuff. Okay. More information over here on the right in terms of the block production and those things, but let's not get lost. Okay. We got to keep moving. Okay. Just introductory to that. Very good. Very good. Okay. So I like black and orange, and I think it's a great color. But anyway, this is not about me, and it's we're going to take this off here right now. And so kind of see some people in the chat here. I hope I hope you guys saw that. Okay. And let me I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to go. Let me just share. Let me just share the mempool, because I think you missed that over there too. Because I wasn't really trying to pay attention to exactly all the things I should have been. But here we are here. Okay, so again, this is the mempool.space. Okay, and for those of you who haven't seen this before, okay, we're just going to take 1 minute and just look at this again. Again, we had just in the okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so 64 minutes ago, block height 892867 was mined, and then 40 minutes ago, basically 24 minutes after that, then the next block was mined, and then what, 35 minutes later, no, 25 minutes later, uh, block 892869 was mined, and then this block was mined 9 minutes ago. This block was mined 8 minutes ago, and this block was mined 7 minutes ago. So if you go like, well, hey, Bodhi, that wasn't 10 minutes, and you're absolutely right, it wasn't. And here's what you see here is this this network of Bitcoin mines on an average of 10 minutes. So if it's stuck out here and it's not mining, these blocks are not getting mined and not getting posted on the blockchain, then they have it needs to speed up. In other words, it's going to do, if there was a lag like over here at these blocks over here, and then it's got to catch up. Okay, so that's the way it works. Yeah, so I think in the span of like a minute or two, we had 3 blocks that showed up on the blockchain. Okay, so yeah, that's what's so beautiful about this whole thing, is that there's actually, this is not just like a perpetual thing that it's just this thing that happens. Okay, Bitcoin it has people that are working on the software. These people, the Bitcoin core developers, are amazing in their commitment to this peer-to-peer exchange that is Bitcoin. It's absolutely amazing. And from what I understand, they get a lot of scrutiny to even be able to be considered to be able to work on the Bitcoin core software. But then that's not all, right? Okay, so we don't live in a vacuum. The Bitcoin blockchain is spread around the world, and it's on the nodes. And there's, I don't know exact numbers, about 20,000 or so of these nodes that are spread around the world that run the Bitcoin core software, so that when the blockchain gets updated, like we saw with those 3 blocks right there, right? They just came boom, and then boom, and then boom. You get those blocks get broadcast out to the nodes, and they receive these. Every block is like attached to the block that was in front of it, and that's why they're all connected, and they get these blocks that are broadcast, and every node that is just it's a little, like a little mini server, if you will, that's running this software, the Bitcoin core software, and it updates with the latest block information, and is all this checking back and forth, and it's all encrypted. It's absolutely fascinating. If you're into that kind of thing. If you're not into that kind of thing and you could care less, you just want your money to work and number go up, that's fine too. But I think it's actually kind of interesting that this stuff gets it can go quickly. Blocks can be mined quickly, or they need to maybe it's slow down, or for whatever reason it's like slowed down, but it regulates itself. And I wouldn't say by itself, but there isn't like a CEO or a board of directors or anybody like that. It's a decentralized network, and that is really a good thing for the common man like you and me. It's a fabulous thing. So this is what you want to do. You want to learn, you want to dig down and deep into some of these things and learn, like, what is Bitcoin? Why is this a thing that I need to learn? Why is it a thing that works? How does it work? On those things. So I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on that. Gosh, I'm already at like almost an hour here. So okay. How we doing here? Uh, oh dear. Oh dear. Yes. Clean your machine. Welcome. Um, okay. So, buck 52,000. What's crazy is the Federal Reserve is getting ready to add $2 trillion to the money supply. So almost the entire market cap of Bitcoin. What do we think is going to happen to the Bitcoin price? Well, I would have to say that some of the other stuff that I'm going to cover, I think will actually answer that question. But I think I think the way my finger's pointing, I think is probably what's going to happen to the Bitcoin price. Um, and so yeah, okay, we have pipeline broadcasts. This is also just me. I'm always spending 8 + 8 hours listening to Guy Swan Bitcoin. I'm listening to podcasts while working, soaking in the fact that how incredibly early we are. Hey, you're doing some homework, and I always applaud people doing their homework. It's so good, because see, then once you understand and once you learn things, then you'll be able to also provide value for new people that that are like not into Bitcoin, or they don't want to know Bitcoin. They're going to be like, oh, I want to know Bitcoin. Tell me all about Bitcoin. And you're be like, I've been trying to tell you, and I don't have time to tell everybody all at once, but you can do a little bit, and that's all you can do. Or you can get a channel, or you can, you can consult, you can do a lot of different things. Start a business. Absolutely, 100% think you should start a business. If you don't have a business, you should think about it. Your boss lets you listen to the podcast. That is perfect. Okay, wonderful. Oh, okay. One more, then, and then we'll move into the next topic here. He goes, not only am I early in Bitcoin, but I'm 25 years old, learning and accumulating Bitcoin this early. Give it 4+ years when I'm 40, maybe 40 years when I'm 65. Where will Bitcoin be then? Hey, right. 100%. Like, where will it be then? So you do what you can right now. And like at my age, I'm doing what I can right now, right? Everybody is everybody who's in Bitcoin is early, and I think that who's in Bitcoin who understands the value and who understands the importance of and the true nature of the mechanics of this, the fundamentals of Bitcoin is they're going to really it's going to shine. It's going to absolutely do some really good things. Let's just say that. I leave the price predictions to other people. That's not my bag. Not in price predictions. Hey, we would really like for you to like the video, and I don't care if you subscribe or not. It's great if you do, but if you don't, I understand. But I'm 100% about kind of trying to help others understand Bitcoin. So if you're this early in Bitcoin, let me just say this: if you're 25 and you're this early in Bitcoin, you are going to be the boss. You are going to be the boss, and I would say, you're clean your machine knows. You're not gonna be working for somebody in 10 years. You're gonna have your own business. You're gonna have people working for you. So yeah, just like that's why learn the fundamentals. I mean, we've got another video in for pipeline broadcast. If you wanna see a way to incentivize your employees who are working for you, watch the video that we had a couple months ago. The t-shirt company, the Blue Cotton in Kentucky. It's a fascinating story about how they use Bitcoin in their business to incentivize employees to stay with them. And anybody who owns a business knows it's hard to keep people. It's hard to find somebody who will show up, much less have a work ethic. And I think the people who have a work ethic, those are the people that show up. The people who don't have a work ethic, they're not showing up, or maybe they are for a little while. At least that's my observation. But I'm going to move on because I have something I'm going to have to go do pretty soon, and I want to cover a couple things here. Uh, well, I'm just going to cover one thing here because I don't have time to do it all. Uh, like what changes your life? What changes your life? Um, you know, Things like Bitcoin can change your life. I think, having a life of faith really can change your life. And if you don't have that, I would encourage you to maybe consider something like that. Um, Maybe you have, maybe it doesn't work for you or whatever. Maybe reconsider some of that, because the point that I'm trying to make is one of the things that changed my life is having a community that kind of some folks that I can go I can kind of like hang out with, I can be with, who understand a lot of things more than I do, and I can ask questions. I can, and so online community is fantastic. Online community is 100% like that is today in 2025. That is, finding a good online community is really, really helpful, right? Because there's so much like negative, bad stuff, and just you name it. It's the world is on the internet, right? So there's a whole lot of stuff you really got to, you don't want the temptation. You don't want garbage in your inbox, or in front of your eyes. You really got to be careful about what you put in front of your eyes. It's because it's just so critical that you keep yourself as 100% you as you can be, and not some sort of like version of some propaganda that or a reaction to some propaganda that someone's throwing out there. Uh, and so, but I'm talking about an in-person, like real community of folks, and you can find yourself. You can say, "Oh man, I want to live in the middle of nowhere," and that works for you. Okay, well, you probably don't have a big community. You probably don't have much community uh, in person with you in a very remote spot. I understand. I went through that phase too. I was a wildland firefighter, so I found myself in the middle of nowhere on a regular basis, and I really enjoyed it at the time. But I think long term, you want to find a community of people that that are that are like-minded, that are kind of like you, that kind of like, maybe it's part of your faith life, maybe it's sort of part of your journey that you're on right now. But I think an in-person community is very, very helpful. And then I think, and this is going to be my call to action. Find a community of people that you can. I mean, and maybe they're in your neighborhood, maybe they're in your community right now, and you haven't found them. Maybe you're one of those people that's kind of like, really kind of don't really like to reach out too much. You can't believe how amazing it can be, if you just take the step and you just try to reach out and find some people. Yeah, you know what? You might stub your toe. You might get the door slammed on your face. It might not be the thing for you. You might be around the corner or something. But you don't know if you don't find out. So I would say reach out there and see if you can find some people that'll be good for you, right? So they kind of like rub off on you and be a good for you to be around. The second thing I would say is, if you have two hands and 2 feet and a brain that works, and you don't even have to have 2 feet. I mean, you don't have to have two hands. You can be in a wheelchair. You can be disabled. I don't care. If you got a brain and a heartbeat, then you have the ability to produce. Okay. And that's what I want to encourage you to try to produce something, make something, maybe with your hands, maybe manufactured, maybe content or something online. But the ability to produce is a big deal. It's not a small thing. It's a big deal. And I think you need to like make something, like grow something, uh, repair or learn how to fix things. Um, this is going to be critical. If you don't know how to do those things already, and there's some people that I know that are probably watching this or will watch this that know how to do those things, that's 100% wonderful. But if you don't know how to do those things, I would encourage you to learn how to fix stuff, learn how to make stuff, learn how to manufacture and grow stuff. It's absolutely fascinating. If you like animals, if you like, and I'm talking about, like, I've done homesteading. I love it. I love growing stuff. I love grafting heirloom apple trees. I mean, I did that. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. In fact, I have some videos, and maybe I'll put them up here on because Bitcoin Generations is not about you. It's not about me. It's about our generation, and it's about future generations that haven't been born. That will be Bitcoiners. They will know nothing else. They won't know the fiat and the Federal Reserve, and they won't know all that stuff. That stuff is going away, in my opinion. I think it's going away, and I think it's going to die a very painful death. But I do think we are not going to be in the same kind of, we have no idea how much different it's going to be. And I think better. I'm an optimist at heart. I think better. It's going to be better. But we have to learn that we haven't even begun to learn yet. Okay. And so we're going to probably leave it right there today. We're going to try to touch right at an hour. And I just want to encourage y'all to just keep doing your same thing that you've been doing. Learn how to do some stuff, stacking your skills, learn how to grow some stuff, learn how to make some stuff, learn how to repair some things. I mean, it's amazing the stuff stuff is so easy to repair sometimes, if you go through it. If you want to repair something, let me just tell you some hands-on stuff that I can teach some of you. If you try to repair something and you can't find any way to do that on YouTube, and there's nobody around you that can help you find how to repair this thing, or it's just too difficult or whatever, then maybe you're in a rut, maybe you're stuck, maybe you can't get that thing repaired. Okay. But it's amazing what you can repair and what you can fix by learning stuff on YouTube. And I'm talking about your car, your lawnmower. I mean, pretty much anything that's mechanical. There's people out there creating this content that's just absolute gold, and you don't have to pay anything for it. All you have to do is take your time, learn about it, do it, ask maybe somebody for some tools if you don't have any. And then once that thing is repaired, you could go and sell that thing and turn it into Bitcoin. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's what I encourage a lot of y'all to do. And I got to go because I got a daughter that needs to go get a car. And that's Bodie on Bitcoin Generation today. And I've loved being with you. And y'all have a great day. And I just want to say, find your passion, that was a great video with the t-shirt company, so y'all have a great day, and leave a comment, leave a post, give us a like, refer us to somebody else if you know somebody who wants to watch just some old guy talk about Bitcoin. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Go Knights. Have a great one. Take care.